welcome to another episode of the Couch Coaches podcast, where we talk about everything going on this week in sports. And Lamar, amazing timing, absolutely dropped a gigantic turd on Harbaugh's head 5 minutes before he goes up to the podium at the coaches convention and says, Baltimore, thank you, but I'm out of here. And I've heard some insane takes over the last couple of days about where Lamar will go. People are talking about the Niners. People are talking about teams that have no cap room whatsoever. It's just wishful thinking. So we're going to talk about Lamar again, and I can't wait for him to get to a team and get traded and all this stuff. So we stop talking about him. But realistically, the only places that he can go are places with very expensive quarterbacks already, or places with tons of cap room. And that's really kind of it. So I'm going to go through each of them separately. So the teams with the expensive quarterbacks, and I have to look at this list because I don't remember it. The Cardinals, Packers, Lions, Rams, and Broncos have very expensive quarterbacks that could theoretically, you just kind of switch and they're both in the same place. Baltimore's paying about what they were going to pay Lamar, and whatever the other team is going to pay, they'll pay a little bit more, but they're already paying a lot anyway. So out of the Cardinals, Packers, Lions, Rams, or Broncos, which team, if you were that team, what team would you would trade for Lamar? Deacon Greg, I'm going to start with you.
The Cardinals, Lions, Rams, and Broncos.
And Packers.
And Packers?
Because Rodgers is supposed to make 60 this year.
Yeah, the Packers are there in limbo, so I don't know what the Packers are doing. But out of those teams, I would try to, if I was the Rams, I would try to make a deal, because they already went all in for Stafford, and Stafford is kind of they don't know what they're going to get out of him anymore. And they brought him in under a big deal, and then they won a Super Bowl. So I think they need to reload. So out of those teams, if I was the Rams, I would try to make a play out of those teams.
Because they've already kind of put out there that they would take offers on Stafford.
Yeah.
But his elbow, it seems risky, but just because of his elbow.
Yeah,
I mean, he's young, but he's been hurt a lot.
Yeah, that's why if I was the Rams, I would try to make a play for him.
Brother Bill, out of those teams, Cardinals, Packers, Lions, Rams, Broncos, which one do you think should make a move if that was your team?
Well, I guess before I answer the question, I got to back up. Did Lamar Jackson say something more recent than the other day when he said back on March 8th he requested a trade? I thought that March 8th trade request was before the Ravens put the franchise tag on him. Or am I incorrect?
Yeah, so his statement that it was a tweet, and his tweet on Monday said that he requested a trade, what it was like 2 or 3 days before they were going to put the franchise tag on him, which then is you can trade for him.
Okay, because I guess in that I inferred that him saying that he requested the trade was his way of forcing the Ravens' hand to pay him what he wanted, not necessarily that he didn't want to play for them. And then by them putting the franchise tag on him was a signal that they did want either A, they were serious about trying to get a deal to keep him, or B, they were just going to wash their hands and put the franchise tag on him. That way, if some other team, that way they would get something for him if he left. So from that aside, going back to the teams that you mentioned, who would be good suitors for him, if you look at the division of those teams, it's which of those teams are in the quote-unquote weakest division, right? You can make the case for the NFC West because it's really a two-horse race between the Seahawks and the 49ers. If you look at did you say the Baltimore? You said the Colts. I think Indianapolis Colts.
No, that's in the other group. So in this category, Cardinals, Packers, Lions, Rams, Broncos.
Cardinals, Packers, Lions,
only the teams with the expensive quarterbacks.
Right. So forget the Broncos because the AFC West until Mahomes leaves, then forget about it. Possibly The NFC North is interesting between, if you said Detroit and Chicago.
Detroit. Well, I mean, Chicago, they're not paying him anything.
But yeah, well, and Chicago has Justin Fields.
Detroit and Green Bay.
Green Bay, I'm sorry, yeah. So NFC North would be interesting because in both of those cases, you don't just know whether or not Minnesota is always going to be competitive. They just lost Thielen. They lost a couple of the guys. So of the teams that you mentioned, I think the best situation for him would be a team in the NFC North, either Detroit or Green Bay.
Best situation for Lamar.
Correct.
Okay.
I know that, well, it wasn't your question, which team would be more apt to take it. I kind of look at the other way. If I'm him, it's like, where are my best chances of success? And I would
according to Meek Mill, he wants to go to the Patriots. You see that? The Meek Mill texted Kraft to say go to the Patriots. I was like,
I have.
Did you guys see that offense last year?
Yeah, Buffalo, Miami. Who knows if the Jets need a quarterback? Assuming Aaron Rodgers goes there, I still think about what I said last week. Don't know how much difference that's going to make. Although they do have a good defense, they can run the ball. Who knows? I would say New England that's too competitive of a division.
I just think it would be weird offensively. Like that doesn't seem like a place that would, like Lamar is such a unique quarterback. The way New England was running their offense last year, I wouldn't trust them for anything if I'm Lamar. I'd be like, there's like if I play defense, great. If I'm a stand in the pocket quarterback, maybe. If other than that, man, I wouldn't touch other than Bill, and he's got this 25-year reputation. But man, after watching what they've done the last couple of years without Brady, I would be very hard pressed for if I'm Lamar to go there. If I'm
plus, what kind of weapons do they have at the wide receiver?
Exactly.
They have what's his name from the Chiefs.
Oh yeah.
The live on Instagram, the live on TikTok guy.
Schuster? No.
Juju. Yeah. So if I'm the Packers, and I know so Rodgers is obviously an amazing quarterback, maybe one of top 10 skill wise, top 10 in football ever. But I think there's definitely a relevancy factor with them because people don't choose to go from whatever city they are into this tiny little town in Wisconsin that's freezing cold all fall and winter. And if I'm them from a relevancy factor, I just trade Rodgers and draft picks and get Lamar. If I'm the Cardinals, that's get your little crazy little dude and get him as far away as you can. And Baltimore's about as far away from Arizona as you can get him. I would do that in a heartbeat if I'm the Cardinals, to just get away from Kyler and all his nonsense and the video games and the not taking stuff seriously, because the way those two guys approach the game from an outside perspective is like polar opposite. Like Lamar seems like he is on point. He's getting better every year. He comes into camp in shape, bigger, stronger, and Kyler's just doing Kyler's thing. And he's expensive, so you could swap that out. But I think the Rams, I'm sure the Rams would love to do that. Would love to get rid of Stafford and get Lamar, man. And the Jets are in a weird spot because they're already talking with Rodgers, so they can't say, "Oh yeah, we would totally get Lamar," because then Rodgers would be like, go back into his 4-day night whatever thing and start taking mushrooms and stuff, and who knows what would happen with that. It's a very awkward situation for the Jets, because all the Jets fans are like, "Cool, go get Lamar," and they're like, "Well, we can't say anything because Rodgers is kind of sensitive." And okay, so the other group of football teams are the teams with a lot of cap room, and if you have a lot of cap room, you're probably not very good. I had the Giants on there, and I'm going to take them off just because they just paid they're paying $40 million. Nobody wants Daniel Jones. So the Jets, which we've already said is an awkward situation, Jets, Falcons, Colts, Panthers, and Texans would be able to absorb this, whatever in the world he's asking for, 180 million guaranteed, 200 million guaranteed, whatever it is, they'd be able to absorb that. So I guess the Jets are out, so I'm going to take them out too. So Falcons, Colts, Panthers, Texans. Who would, Brother Bill, I'm going to start with you. Who do you think would make the best play? Falcons, Colts, Panthers, Texans.
I mean, which team would make the best play to get him, or which team would be best for him?
Either or.
Okay. Atlanta could be interesting. I don't know what they do with Marcus Mariota. They have receivers.
I don't think he's on the team anymore. I think their plan is Ritter.
Yeah, Mariota's gone. He's gone.
Wow.
Oh yeah, he's been gone for a couple of weeks now.
Oh wow. Okay. So I'll put a push pin by the Falcons. You mentioned Carolina, which is also in the NFC South. He would need help though. He doesn't have much around him. Who's left?
Texans. Colts.
Texans haven't been relevant since Deshaun Watson was there. Part of me says Atlanta only because I think indoors. What would be interesting to see is because he's always played outdoors his whole career in Baltimore. It'd be interesting to see how he would do on turf.
Like how much faster could he possibly get than he already is?
Well, that coupled with, I'm personally just not a fan of turf football. Forget what everyone back and forth about whether or not people get more athletes are more injury prone. I just don't think that was designed for football. It's more, I think, for entertainment. But it would be interesting to see how he would do on turf. But that's an interesting prospect because again, looking at that division, the division winner Tampa Bay was under 500. That division is up for grabs.
And they have Baker this year, so it's not like
Baker Mayfield. So I would be surprised if the Falcons didn't make a play for him.
Okay, Deacon Greg.
Well, what I was reading today is the owner Jim Irsay. He said out loud what everybody's thinking, and he said that he would pay Lamar what he wants, but he won't guarantee it. He won't give him a guaranteed contract. So, and then I was doing a little bit more reading on that, and they were saying that they could do a swap and trade. They could do, because the Colts have the fourth pick in the draft, so they can offer that pick to the Ravens and do a trade, a swap and trade pick. So I really think if he goes anywhere, I really believe he's going to go to the Colts. The coach, they want him. The owner said, "I'll pay him. I won't guarantee that big contract, but the money ain't the issue; it's the guaranteed factor." So I believe if he leaves the Ravens, he is going to the Baltimore Colts.
But would he stay there?
I mean, what do you mean? The Colts is not a bad team. They got some stuff around them.
Well, and their new coach is the offensive coordinator from Philadelphia, and that dude did a job last year. It's kind of running quarterback, moving around. People kind of poo-pooed Jalen Hurts as a quarterback, and man, he may be another kind of day ball with running quarterbacks.
Okay, so those two divisions, NFC South and AFC South, are there to be had. Jacksonville, they won it just because someone had to win it. I mean, we'll see if they can duplicate, how their season, this upcoming season. But that's another division I think that's up for grabs. There's no team, all those teams I put almost about the same place.
Jacksonville's definitely on an upward trajectory, though. I mean,
sure, but yeah.
I almost think Lamar's he's gonna get his guaranteed money is gonna be over 150. I don't know if it'll make 200, but it almost feels like he's gonna need an owner that's a little desperate, maybe a little wacky. I think the Colts I think Irsay definitely fits that. And I think it would be very hard to pass with their new head coach. And I don't know the guy, I can't think of the guy's name, but the offensive coordinator from the Eagles. I think it would be hard to have that guy and have the chance to get Lamar after Andrew Luck just completely kiboshed everything it was beautiful. It was like the Packers situation. It was this amazing situation, and he just went, nope. So for him to be able to kind of get back in that national spotlight and the playoff races and stuff, I don't know how he would pass that up.
He said he said the money's not the issue; it's the guaranteed portion of it.
Yeah, so. and they've made great points that even though these quarterbacks aren't getting necessarily guaranteed money. A lot of these quarterbacks are playing out, 4 out of their 5 years or 5 out of their 6 years. So it's not like a linebacker situation. It's not like was it Bobby Wagner that, he signs his 3-year deal and gets cut after year 1. Like the quarterbacks it's a different position, which is why they get paid so much, which is why they're, even if it's not guaranteed, they're making a 75% of the contract they're making. I mean, Kirk Cousins he's played out all of his contracts. And he's,
like they say, it's not the guarantee, it's the signing bonus. What do you get up front? If you can get a whole lot up front, then that could be a deciding factor.
Yeah, and you can also, I mean, there's also like what they're doing with Deshaun. You just keep adjusting and just making a bonus and just extending the contract. He's going to be there for like 15 years with that contract. They're going to keep readjusting it. And he's going to be there. It's going to be like a 15-year career there. Final four, college hoops. Who do you guys got? Dean Greg, I'm gonna start with you. So FAU and San Diego State, and
I'm going
UConn and Miami. Who do you got?
I'm going to ride with San Diego State just because of what they've been doing. They knocked out Alabama, the #1 overall seed in the whole tournament. They knocked them off, and they're a big physical team. Right now it's a toss up though. It ain't no clear cut favorite, but I'm going to go with the Mountain West, the little underdog from San Jose State Division.
And then who do you got? Miami and UConn.
I'm gonna go with UConn. I think UConn.
They're killing teams. Brother Bill, who you got?
Between San Diego State and
FAU.
San Diego State, watching them offensively just seem to execute better down the stretch of both the Sweet 16 and the regional final game. Their defenses, I would put almost the same. It's new for both of them. I would give San Diego State the slight edge there. UConn, hands down. I haven't been following UConn. To be honest, I haven't followed college basketball regular season at all. I didn't start watching until the tournament. And UConn, the stats when they kind of showed they were blowing teams out consistently in all 5 of their games, or the 4 games, by almost 15 plus points going in. But no, and even in the tournament, I mean, in the regular season, the conference games they played well. But no way did I expect them to blow the brakes off of Gonzaga the way they did. Is it that they were actually that good, or was Gonzaga just a mirage that people just didn't see the whole year? Because that was a massacre in the second half. So with all that, like I said, I see UConn and San Diego State for all the marbles. San Diego and UConn winning it all.
Yeah, I'm on the same. Yeah, UConn and San Diego State. So we're all on the same page. I just can't imagine. I'm thinking about these dudes from San Diego State, and so the reason I even have a hat is my daughter's godmother's worked in athletics at San Diego State for 20 years. So every time she comes up, she's got all the San Diego State gear. We're always talking about Tony Gwynn and Marshall Faulk, and so she's losing her mind because she's sitting there watching the game. I mean, knowing the players' names, and I mean, obviously on their jersey, but it's different. Like she's sitting there going, "Oh, come on, dude, go get it. Make that and make this." And I can't imagine going from San Diego State to they're going to play where the Houston Texans play. They're going to play basketball in front of, what is it, like 80,000 people, 70,000 people? I can't even imagine like just walking out on that court and just see this whole huge stadium. It's just the jump from what they, Viejas Arena or whatever the arena is down San Diego to that is bananas.
But hey, brother Bill, you talking about Gonzaga? Aren't there a mirage every year? They do the same.
I can't say I disagree. I mean, like I said, they say styles make fights. So is it that later round? I mean, the Baylor Gonzaga final. Sure, people had Gonzaga paid because they were undefeated, but Baylor, believe was too. But the way Baylor beat them again, Baylor guards just destroyed them. So them knocking out UCLA twice with a 3 last second shot, okay, but to go from that to just what UConn did to them, wow, it's impressive for UConn, and if you're Gonzaga, it's like how do you hold your head up when you get off that plane back home? My goodness,
It's
That
got to
was a
be
tough
tough
one.
though. Like
Huh?
prepare. Like part of it is like you may not have a great record, but you have a really tough division. Like anybody that comes out of the SEC is
Right.
playing against other SEC guys. Gonzaga plays against the WCC. I mean, like how they're playing against like Santa Clara and Loyola and University of Pacific. I mean, that cannot prepare you very well to play Alabamas and play UConns and play guys from the ACC.
Yeah.
That's got to be, and that's such a huge jump, and they have great players. But it's
Aren't they?
like,
They're leaving that division this year, right? Next year,
I
aren't they
think so.
going
Yeah,
somewhere?
they have to.
I think they're leaving. Yeah.
All right. So basketball season is wrapping up, and it's starting to look more and more like the Warriors and Lakers are going to be playing in the play-in, which I
Nope.
which I don't
Not
like.
gonna happen. Here's why.
Okay, go.
No, actually, go ahead. Finish.
No. That's it. That's it. I'm looking at the stands and looking at the games, especially. So I'm on Sunday. Obviously, Greg, you heard the whole thing. I'm like, hey, 3 in a row on the road. We figured it out. We got it. This is it. We're rolling. Home game, loss. So now I'm like, wait, did we just flip flop? Can we do it where we win on the road and at home? And Lakers are 9 today.
Yeah. Warriors are
Yeah.
7, Lakers are 9.
I'm just looking at it going, man, which would be cool for this podcast, but like, so okay, Bill, you said there's no way, please.
Well, yeah, because I think so. 2 things would have to happen. One, either the Warriors either stay at the 7th seed and the Lakers drop down to the 10 seed because 7 and 10 would play, 8 and 9 would play, and the winner of those would play that final game to see who's and that winner would get the 7th seed, and then the loser of that game would have to play again to try to get the 8th seed. And so I have to say it, didn't expect the Lakers to still be in the running. So Greg, got to give you your props. Looks like they got 6 games left. They're in the 9 seed today. They got to stay ahead of OKC, and who knows if they catch New Orleans. Warriors, they got 3 games on the road, 3 games at home left. They're playing one of those 6 games right now at home. They're trailing, but it's early against the Pelicans. Outside chance that the Warriors can get to the 5 seed because they're only a game behind the Clippers. They're tied with Minnesota, but they lose tiebreaker because the T-Wolves just beat them. Like I said, they got 6 games left. If they can get to the 5, then again, just I don't see the Warriors being stuck in the play-in.
Okay.
Bill is so optimistic. I just love him. I just love Bill.
I'm looking at the schedule, and at some point, desperation is gonna have to kick in. If they don't have Wiggins back, it's gonna be a moot issue anyways, because they'll be roasted in the playoffs.
Okay, well, to get to your question, there's a great possibility that they may face each other in the play-in game. The Lakers, I can see them moving up a spot. I don't see them getting past the 8th, so I believe they're gonna definitely have to be in a play-in position. I don't see the Warriors moving up like my brother Bill does. He's going all the way up to the 5th. They're hovering right where they are, and they might be dropping. So to answer your question, there is a great possibility that the Lakers will face the Warriors, and the Lakers will win.
Bill, nothing.
Bill is so optimistic. Oh, they're going to the 5th spot. Okay, Joe. Here you go, Joe. Your team.
They're a game behind. They're a game out of 5. They got 6 games left. Hey.
If we win tonight, I will be less worried. When we lost the other day, I was like, not what I was thinking. I was thinking, oh, cool, we got to run a roll. Not so much.
The only silver lining in the loss to Minnesota was, for a change, they actually held a team under 120 points.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not. I mean, that's a reach, but that's the only thing they did right was they played a little bit better defensively. Poole took some bad shots. They took too many unnecessary threes the second half of the 4th quarter. I put that loss on the coach. I put that loss on Kerr. At some point, you got to say you don't need threes. In a close game, 1 position game, Just get your best shot. It doesn't have to be a 3-pointer, especially early in the shot clock. I just don't get that.
That's your MO. That's how you guys play.
He sees
That's
Curry.
your
He's like, I want to do
DNA.
that.
That's your DNA. That's how you guys play. You can't change now.
We need Draymond to keep him in line. That's what we need. Draymond, go get him and keep him in line.
We need Wiggins.
All right. So last subject. It was like presented as a big deal, but I don't see why it's a big deal when Lynch is asked about next year in the quarterback. He said, or Shanahan or Lynch, one of them was like, yeah, Brock kind of earned being the starter. And I didn't see that as a weird take. Like he had a great season and his arm fell off in the NFC Championship game. It seems like he should be the starter going into it. Brother Bill, your thoughts on basically Shanahan saying that Purdy's the starter next year?
Well, I think that was Lynch who said that. So the challenge with that is then what are you saying to the team where you've only seen a game and a half out of, well, not even a game and a half out of Trey Lance? Because if they're going to say, I mean, my expectation is you still have the quarterback competition, and Shanahan could already have in his mind, that, but unless something drastic happens in the competition, right, where Trey just outperforms, Purdy by leaps and bounds, Purdy starts. But I think to make that decision now, then what are you saying to the team where, as a coach, you put a quarterback who just drafted out there in the second game and you get him hurt, and then you lose him for the year? Sure, you get Purdy, sure you have this great run, but I think at some point Shanahan has to have some culpability for his play calling, where he's basically made plays that have gotten two quarterbacks injured. Trey Lance, second game, and then having a backup tight end to block the Philadelphia Eagles' main pass rusher, and then you lose Purdy. So I think the way you fix that is you got to say, have your quarterback competition, and whoever performs best, then name him as your starter.
Deacon Greg.
I agree with Deacon. I agree with Brother Bill, but he left Garoppolo out of that too. Garoppolo was in the mix. He got hurt also. So don't forget the Raiders quarterback. But no, seriously, on a serious note, yeah, you got to have a quarterback competition. You don't just name a quarterback your starter. First of all that draft capital and everything, how you guys moved up to draft Trey Lance. And I used to be, back in the day, a starter didn't lose his position to injury. They should, if you got injured, you get at least come back and try to compete for your position again. So I agree 100% that they should have an open competition in training camp. Best, and it don't have to be leaps and bounds. I mean, the best guy is going to win. I mean, and plus, you guys don't even know what you're going to get out of Purdy when he comes back after that surgery. You still don't even know. So how can you even make that statement? So I agree with Brother Bill that they need to have an open competition in training camp. Best man wins. That's where we go.
Yeah. Well, so the thing is, like, Purdy won't even be ready for. I mean, he's not going to be playing until like the very end of preseason. At best, I think Lance is competing with Darnold for that second spot. I think that's where the competition is. And everything I heard last year was that. So what they did last year, what it sounds like they did last year, is they just basically Trey was the starter. There was no competition, no nothing. We drafted this dude. We got to get him out there. And then during the preseason and stuff, you start hearing he's not that accurate. He's, not getting the ball to the guys. So it's like, I think if they compete, I think Purdy wins anyways. Because I think Lance has, the problem is Lance has got hurt, but then Lance hasn't been, he can't do anything when he's hurt because he can't step, it's not like he can step and practice throwing and stuff all the time. So he's basically going to be in the same spot as he was last year. And last year was it didn't look great. I mean, it didn't even look that great when Garoppolo was in there. So, and then Purdy came in and we've seen so many quarterbacks through Shanahan's system because they all get hurt. So we see everybody multiple times that when Purdy came in, it just looked different than it has for any of these quarterbacks. And I think that's what gets people so excited is they go, oh, well, look, all these other quarterbacks have done, it been, mediocre at best. And this dude comes in and goes down the field and he's a gamer and he's a little small, and I think people get really excited for that. And I think for the locker room stuff, I think it's worse to have somebody do that and you not say he should be up here. Because Kittle's saying he should be up here. Warner's saying he should be up here. Bosa's saying he should be up here. And those are the guys, those are like the heart of the locker room. I think if you play really, really well and then you don't, I think I would bet that there was an issue with them trying to let Jimmy kind of sort of go last year and then put in Trey because they went, well, Jimmy got us here and Jimmy did this and you're pulling him anyways. I think that would be harder on the locker room than saying we put up all this draft capital. We haven't really given him a chance. We need to get him out there.
I still say give competition. Put him out there and let him compete. But you're saying, he's not even going to be ready to compete. So how about this scenario? What if you go with Trey? And I don't think Sam Donald's going to do too much. He's like I told you guys, he's a turnover machine. He has a good ball, strong arm and stuff, but he turns the ball over too much. So what if Trey Lance all through he's looking really great. He's doing great. He's moving offense. You guys are, the chemistry seems to be working. And all of a sudden, then when Purdy comes back, you just set him down and say, hey, it's your team.
So Kyle threw out he could be back by like week 4. He threw that out. So let's just say he's back week 4. If Trey's killing it 1, 2, and 3, and he's looked good in preseason and stuff, I think you stay with Trey. I mean, you kind of just do what happened with Purdy and with Garoppolo. Like they get out, and if they get hot and they roll, like you don't want to mess up. If there's a chemistry going, you don't want to mess up the chemistry of the team by throwing in, because they're different quarterbacks. And if they're humming with Trey, keep humming until he gets hurt because he runs them too much and hurts his foot or something.
But what was missing from that question is, but the other part of that question wasn't just, I mean, not you, but in the story was, sure, should Purdy start? That sells papers. The real question is, how do they fix that offensive line so that you don't have to be concerned with whether or not you have a mobile quarterback, whether or not you can throw deep, whether you can effectively run the ball? Because if you don't have the offensive line, you need to do those things. It doesn't matter who you have at quarterback. Because if you can't run, the Niners system, if they can't run the ball, then they will not beat many teams passing the ball. They are a run-first team. So fix your O-line first, Lynch, Shanahan, and whichever quarterback you put back there, Trey or Purdy, you should be fine.
So one of the issues, though, is it's like McGlinchey was a good run-blocking lineman. He was not a good pass blocking lineman. So Correct. It's like it's almost like they're two different styles of, I don't know if it's a style of player, if it's a style of blocking scheme. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but and Kyle's always going to go for the run line over the passing line. And I'm wondering if that'll be an issue on the right side again, like it is all the time.
Can't run, it's gonna be tough to win.
Yeah, I don't see us ever having an issue where we're not running.
Yeah, well,
we'll figure the run out for sure. The passing, obviously, yeah, the passing is different.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we are out of time. I appreciate it, and I will. Well, the game. Oh, we'll have the finals. Will be the finals are Monday night, right, for college?
Yeah.
All right, so we'll have. I'm sure we'll be right. We're gonna be. It'll be San Diego State and UConn, and then UConn will absolutely mow down San Diego State. All right, you guys have a good week.
All right, take care.
See ya.